I hate my periods. I wish they would just go away. Why is this always happening to me? Now, if this all sounds familiar, then stick around because this video is for you. We'll be exploring what periods are and tips and remedies that I've personally used to go 20 years without using or relying on conventional meds to help me cope with my periods. Let's get into it. If we've never met before, my name is Rosemary. I'm a midwife and herbalist, helping women get rid of period pains and also give birth feeling confident and supported. Now, what if I told you can actually be on your period, be able to function and deal with life, go out, go shopping, go and eat, do all the things you would normally do when you're not on your period, and do it all without relying on drugs? Yes, it's possible, and I'll be sharing some of the tips that I've used to help me get through my periods. Every month, your body prepares for pregnancy, and one of the ways it does this is by making the lining of your uterus or womb thicker in order to grow a fertilized egg. Now, when this doesn't happen, i.e. you don't get pregnant, the lining breaks down, it sheds, the muscles contract in order to release that lining, and it results in bleeding. Now, we've all heard of hormones. These are just ways your body communicates with itself by sending chemical messages across to different organs. Now, estrogen is one of the key players in your cycle. And when there's an excess of estrogen, it makes the lining of that womb thicker, meaning your body has to work, or your uterus has to work a lot harder to contract and squeeze and break down that lining, which results in cramping. One of the ways we take in excess estrogen is through processed foods, using excess animal products, through the skin products that we use because it absorbs into our skin, which is our largest organ in the body. So all of this plays a role in how the hormones behave during our cycle. Now, one of the common misconceptions or myths about periods is that period pain is completely normal and there's nothing you can do about it, which is completely false. Period pain is not normal. If you had pain in your knees that just kept going, or pain in your eye that just wouldn't stop, you wouldn't think this is normal. And similarly with our periods, we should be able to have them and be able to function and deal with life and go out and eat and just do everyday activities without feeling like we're going to pass out. Another myth is that you need to take drugs or pills in order to cope with your periods. This couldn't be further from the truth. We are supposed to live life. We're supposed to enjoy life. We're supposed to actually have good periods. It's not something that we should be hating or form a toxic relationship with. Is one of the vital signs that your body is doing what it's supposed to do and it's functioning the way it's supposed to function. Now, when I was younger, I did not enjoy my periods at all. I started when I was in year 5. I was in primary school. So you can imagine, like, I didn't even have a clue what was going on. I remember my mom, giving me pads. Like, when I came home, I was like, oh my gosh, I've started my periods. And she was like, yeah, sure, I'll get you some pads. I mean, I was expecting more of like a big celebration, but that didn't happen. It's fine. I started getting, pain. I really wasn't sure like how to deal with it. It's not really something that's talked about in our culture. You just deal with it. Every month it comes, you bleed, you're in pain, you deal with it. And it can really be distressing, actually. And over the years, when I learned how to deal with my own through changing what I was eating and supplements, breathing, yes, it actually works. It works with women who are giving birth. So it definitely works during periods as well. All of these little things accumulatively, it just kind of helped to deal and cope with my periods. It can be quite distressing because you're young, you don't really know what's going on with your body. No one's really taken the time to explain it. You just kind of figure things out as you go along. And it wasn't until sort of like my later teens that I started, seeing that when I ate certain foods, it would cause more cramping, it would cause more pain, I would bleed heavily, and so on. The issue with relying on drugs and using that every month is that, yes, they provide short-lasting relief. And gosh, who doesn't want to just get rid of that pain when it's happening and it's in full force? That's fine. But then in the longer term, the side effects of all of that do add up. And when you get to your late 20s, late 30s and 40s, you're having to then deal with the repercussions of using all those drugs, the stomach ulcers that it leads to, the poor pH in your body that it leads to, the reduced immunity, all of these things, they add up, and it actually has an effect on your overall health. It has an effect on your overall hormones. And a lot of my clients are women in their 30s and their 40s who have been on the contraceptive pill. They've taken antibiotics over the years, and that has really wreaked havoc on their gut lining, on their relationship with foods and how they digest foods, how they sleep, how they go to toilet. All of these things actually have an effect in the long term. So my job is to help you to not make these same mistakes and to actually have a positive relationship with your periods, because believe it or not, it actually is possible. The tips and remedies that have helped me and have just been invaluable in my period journey. First up is magnesium. Now, magnesium is an essential mineral that we need for so many different functions that take place in the body, whether that's digesting food, helping our skin, bone formation, everyday things, like you name it. I'm sure magnesium has a role to play in it. It is essential to the body, and most of us are deficient in it. One of the ways you can get magnesium in your diet is through supplementing. Now, I'm normally an advocate for eating foods in their raw state. That's how the body best absorbs it and uses it. But knowing that most of us are deficient, and actually, if you're in a state where you're suffering with periods, it's likely that you are deficient in magnesium. One of the best forms of magnesium I'd recommend are ones that are liquid, that can be sprayed under the tongue, because it's easily absorbable. Hence, your body uses it much quicker. You get relief much faster. Some of the foods that are rich in magnesium are things like avocado, very dark chocolate, not your Milky Way nonsense, and nuts and seeds, things that you can easily use in your everyday life, whether using it on salads, adding it as a side to your meal. But just get used to eating magnesium-rich foods. You will see a massive difference. Next up is breathing. I know this sounds la-di-da, but I promise you it works. I've seen it work time after time with women in labor, and it makes such a massive difference to your mental state, to just everything around you. Like, when was the last time you actually stopped to just focus on your breathing? As in, breathe in and out. And you can breathe in, sort of count 1, 2, 3 seconds, and breathe out, count 6 seconds. So you are slowing down the pace of your exhaling. And this really just helps not only in grounding you and just making you present in that moment, but it also helps you to be in tune with your body and to actually figure out what's going on. Where am I actually feeling pain? Is it in my back? Is it in my womb? Is it in my shoulder? What's actually going on? If you do this every day for the next 2 weeks, just 2 minutes of breathing, I promise you, you will see a difference in your mental state. If nothing else, you will see a difference in your mental state. And if you do try it, do let me know in the comment section and let me know how it worked for you. The last is herbal remedies. Now, I will share 3 of my favorite remedies that I use with clients, I've used on myself, and I know these work and they make a difference. And first up is cinnamon. So cinnamon, it helps to relax the muscles. When your muscles are relaxed, more oxygen flows through, helping to relieve that tension and that pain. Next up is ginger. Now, ginger has actually been used in studies to compare it to the effects of ibuprofen, and they found it has similar effects when relieving pain, but also without the side effects that is caused by ibuprofen. And quite honestly, if you told me to choose between a drug that, yes, is going to give me some relief, but is going to cause me more pain and suffering down the line, versus a herb that I can actually grow in my own backyard and I don't have to pay for every month and will actually give me more relief, more long-lasting relief in the long run, I know which one I'll be picking. Now, ginger is warming, especially this time of the year where it's getting cooler. It helps with digestive issues. It helps with bloating, gas, all the things that seem to creep up on you during your periods. It's just an excellent ally to have on hand. It's cheap, it's easy to access. It's definitely one that you want in your toolkit when dealing with periods. You can grate it, so use a grater, grate it, pour it in a cup and put some water over it, and that's your tea. And you can just keep on topping up and have that throughout the day. Peppermint is a wonderful one to have on hand. It's handy, especially if you start your period last minute at work, you don't really have anything on you. It's one that I always keep in like a little tea bag, and I have it like with me in my bag so that if I start my period and I'm at work, or I start it and it's unexpected, then at least I've got something on hand to just help soothe me, just help ground me, and just kind of keep me calm in the midst of chaos at work. One of the reasons we get pain is through something called stagnation. So the body is cold, blood flow isn't really moving as well, and things get stuck. So imagine mud trying to move through a pipe. It's just not going to flow as well. Whereas when your body is warm and things are open and relaxed, your body flows easily, your blood flow flows easily, and you can function a lot better. Now, these are some of the remedies that I've used that has been instrumental in helping my period journey be more positive. And I actually look forward to my periods. I genuinely do. It's a day that I can disconnect from the world and just honor myself and just be with me. Yes, you still have to do life and you still have to deal with people, but when you have tools in your box to help make that a lot smoother, then you can deal with life a lot better. You can deal with people without actually hating them or hating yourself and just feeling nothing but resentment from the world. Let me know in the comment section what's been helpful for you. In my next video, I'll be in the kitchen showing you some of these remedies, how I like to make them, and how easy it is for you to include herbs into your everyday life. I'll see you then.